Hey guys, Script here with another video, and this is an interesting set of two articles here, and they're interesting for the goods and the bads. From Gaming Bible, Star Wars officially confirmed who Darth Vader's true father is, and you probably missed it. Okay, I doubt that, but okay. One of Star Wars' universe's greatest mysteries has finally been solved, and we now know who Anakin Skywalker's father actually is. The Star Wars movies may be dedicated to who Luke Skywalker's father is, but the origins of Anakin Skywalker were a bit more vague. As you can imagine, fan theories have been rife over the years about, but now thanks to Marvel's canonical Darth Vader number 25, that came out like 8 years ago or something, or 7 years ago. We now have an official answer, and it might sound familiar to fans of the Bible. Okay, I know what they're going to be talking about here, and I don't think it's correct. According to Anakin's mother, Shmi, I like saying that word, Shmi, there was no father. I carried him, I gave birth, I raised him, I can't explain what happened. Put simply, there was no father, but it was believed that the father was the Force itself. As it turns out, Anakin was made via manipulation of the dark side of the Force, according to 2018's Darth Vader. That's 6 years ago. Written by Charles Soule and Giuseppe Camuncoli. The manipulation in Shmi's womb was orchestrated by none other than Palpatine himself. I don't think that's who wrote that. Hold on, let's check. I thought it was written by, Greg Pak. And here it says it's from 2020. Okay, but here it says it's 2017. Hold on a sec. Okay, so this is a different one then? What the? So what's this one? Greg Pak. Whatever, I'm confused. Guys, let me know in the comments section if you know what's going on. Vader 25, Wikipedia, says it's written by Greg Pak and it's from 2020. Darth Vader 25, 2017, both from Wikipedia. What the heck? I'm confused. And I haven't read a lot of these comics. I've read some Darth Vader comics. I read the ones about him basically purging the Jedi, which I thought were really cool, where he alone, not with a bunch of Inquisitors, actually goes around and deals with the remaining Jedi, but that's pre-Disney, so I don't know, whatever. I just think that's better than stupid Inquisitors. Jedi that all of a sudden the Emperor's like, yeah, let's take their word for it that they're bad now, and then they go around killing their friends. Like, it's, anyways, I can't stand the Inquisitor timeline, but whatever. So this must be the 2020 version. Okay, so Shmi, it turns out Anakin was made via manipulation of the Force. Turns out Anakin was made via manipulation of the dark side. Charles Soule, yeah, we already did that. Shmi's womb was orchestrated by none other than Palpatine himself. The truth is discovered when Darth Vader experiences the pivotal moments of his life after tearing a hole between the realm of life and living Force. As a mere shadow of dark energy, we see him as he meets his pregnant mother, who is that beside her? Emperor Palpatine. Readers then see Palpatine manipulate a swarm of Sith sorcery around Shmi's stomach, creating a baby who will grow on to become Anakin Skywalker. Pretty interesting, huh? Now, I haven't read this, but I did notice something interesting when I was looking into this. So first of all, that is true. There is like a panel that seems to imply that, where he's like, your belly. But then Matt Martin, who's an executive and he's on the story group at Disney, says no. He tweeted back at this guy and said, I've gone into this at length a few times. No, that is not what the comic is implying. Just no. There's more to that comic than those two panels. It should be read in context. In other words, Palpatine's just like, oh, the chosen one. He's just like getting all hot and bothered over, like, he's excited about the prospect, I guess, or whatever, of this guy that he's going to manipulate and use. I think really all that's saying is that he's planning way ahead, as Palpatine does. So where this person, Angard Redden, is getting this information, I don't know. I don't know. Either way, I don't like that. And this is the whole point I read this article, because I wanted to tell you guys and see what you think. If you do happen to check out my sequels Reimagined, I know they don't look the best, but the story's really good, I think. I've been told that by many people. The tie-in, and I know I'm revealing something that, you know, if you haven't seen it, but no one's watching it anyway. I have a small channel, so whatever, I'm just going to say it. Plagueis impregnates Shmi. So basically his long-term plan was that he was going to take the prophecy, which is true. See, here's the problem. You can't do the sequels with Anakin being the chosen one, because there's nothing to do. Unless, I guess you could, you'd have to do a completely new set of villains and stuff like that. You could do that. But you can't really have a Jedi-Sith dynamic, right? Because he's supposed to bring balance to the Force by destroying the Sith. So what I do is I come at it from the perspective that the Jedi misinterpret and not that they misinterpret, they interpret the prophecy truthfully, but that Plagueis fulfills the prophecy. It's kind of like, because there's a lot of like Christian themes in Star Wars, so it's kind of like how like Christians would view the devil or Satan is fulfilling prophecy in scripture to get to that point where he needs to be, kind of thing. That kind of mentality. So that's where I came from, and it ties the whole thing together. Then he's, you know, basically the god of the Skywalker line. So you have a I am your father moment, but it's like I'm your god moment, basically. Like, you guys owe your entire existence to me. Which I thought was kind of interesting, kind of better than it being maybe Palpatine or somebody else. If it was Palpatine, that would tie in the sequels better. But Matt Martin says that's not the case. So, you know, maybe it should have been in the comic book to tie in the sequels more with Palpatine, because that would make it's still stupid that he's in the sequels, but at least then you could kind of say, okay, kind of ties it all together. Alas, they didn't do that, so whatever. So the other article is this one about Snoke's origin. We probably missed it, according to Ryan Easby. Star Wars confirmed what the deal is with Snoke while you weren't paying attention, and it's fairly underwhelming. Well, Snoke is an underwhelming character overall, thanks to Rian Johnson killing him off without ever explaining anything. Right now, based on the book, Snoke was a strand cast created by the Sith Eternal. We don't know if they always wanted him to be the puppet leader of the First Order, or if they wanted him to be a vessel for Palpatine's spirit. One Reddit user wrote, attempting to offer some kind of basic explanation for what Snoke is, it is also stated that Snoke himself doesn't know he's a strand cast, so he doesn't know he's serving Palpatine. He has some sort of free will, but in the same book, they say his actions serve Palpatine's interests. He's basically Count Dooku, the public face of the First Order. The aforementioned book is the aptly titled The Star Wars Book, an official compendium of knowledge. Well, how could he not know that he's serving Palpatine? You literally see him in the jar on Exegol. You see a bunch of them. I'm assuming he's, they let him out of the jar. Well, what would he think he's doing? He's on Exegol. He's with the Sith Eternal. Palpatine's clone or whatever, his real body's there, and he's hooked up to the machine. Who would he think he's serving? So that doesn't make any sense. In addition to this, we know, thanks to the comics, that Snoke has been around for at least 30 years, as he's been grooming young Ben Solo from a young age. Snoke is a confused mess of a character, specifically due to the lack of planning. Yes, it's extremely clear watching Rise of Skywalker that the initial plan wasn't to bring back Emperor Palpatine as the main villain, but the overall Star Wars sequel trilogy, and that it was the last-ditch effort because the writers ran out of ideas following Snoke being killed in The Last Jedi, and J.J. Abrams didn't really know what to do to cap off the trilogy. What this led to is several questions, even ones other than Snoke himself, just not being answered, and being left up to either fans to decide, or, again, this speaks to how awful the sequels are, like, that they don't explain, like, major issues in the plot. Okay, so, again, reason I'm reading this article is to, again, if you do so decide to check out my sequels reimagined, and again, it doesn't always look good, but the story's good. Plagueis dies in Episode 8. He dies in Episode 8 because, in my sequels, Ben is not conflicted. He's an evil piece of crap. And he doesn't kill Plagueis. Luke does. But he is bad, and so he just takes over that mantle. And then there's a dynamic with Rey as well, and she's trying to get power, and she's his sister. I go with the EU brother-sister. I keep their names Ben and Rey, because whatever, who cares, just names. But Plagueis is killed, and then Ben takes over, Kylo takes over. He's not called Kylo, he's just called Ben. He's Darth Iron, and he takes over the Empire. But in this particular case, I don't know why JJ did this. I guess he felt like he had to just go with Palpatine because he didn't think Ben was believable as the main villain, which he kind of wasn't after The Last Jedi. He was always pouting and simping and all of that stupid stuff. So, anyways, you guys let me know in the comment section what you think. I don't know. To me, these villains were just wasted. They were wasted, and we still don't know who Anakin's dad was, or if it was the Force, or whatever. Again, I liked the Plagueis bit. I thought that tied the whole trilogy together. And Ben's conflict in Episode 9 of my sequels reimagined is because of Finn and him and Finn's background. Finn was one of Luke's students and knew Ben, and they were friends when they were little kids. And that's where his conflict starts, with having empathy and sympathy for his friend. So Finn ties the whole trilogy together, and then of course Plagueis is there as well to tie up the whole 9 films together, which makes so much more sense than what we got. I mean, the sequels were just a mess, and Rian Johnson is probably the biggest reason for that, although I'm not letting JJ off the hook. People on Twitter are always like, oh, why don't you talk about JJ? I do talk about JJ. JJ sucked, and I did a whole video about how awful he was making these movies. So anyways, that's basically the bottom line. And if you like this content, please like, subscribe, always helps the channel, and feel free to check out anything else on my channel, and have yourselves a really good day.